I have never seen a bag this big of parsley. So the subject for today is, have you ever bitten off more than you can chew? That is certainly what happened to me this month. A great sale on jalapenos can mean only one thing. Okay, so the first thing we need is flour and, not flour, sugar. And we need, let's see, 6 cups of sugar. Woo! I have been stuck in there a couple of times and had to MacGyver my way out of there. And yeah. Hello friends, and welcome back to Safe at Homestead. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Elena. So the subject for today is, have you ever bitten off more than you can chew? That is certainly what happened to me this month. Not that we haven't done anything. We've been busy, but not in the areas that I expected. So I am going to share with you a little bit about what's been keeping me from doing what I expected, which is the Every Bit Counts challenge. I have done a few things, and we're going to be doing something today, but I haven't kept up like I expected to. But I am not too down about it because what has been taking its place is pretty exciting. So right now I am going to go grab some jalapenos because that's what we're going to be working on. And while I do that, I will share with you what I've done starting the challenge this month. Good morning, everyone. Let's get this challenge started. We are going to preserve some basil this morning. I went to Trader Joe's looking for something specific. I was looking for shelf-stable half and half or cream, and I know they carry it, but I can never ever find it in my area. And I finally got a hold of a manager, and I talked to her, and she said, yeah, let's check. She didn't expect that they would have it, and then she told me that they don't usually get it, but she knows that they have it in other areas of the country. I was kind of sad that they don't have it in our area, but I did find this. This is some organic basil, whoops, and it was about $3. And my basil is just now taking off. It is not ready to be picked and used. So I thought I would take advantage of this product that they had and got 2 boxes. I think it's a good price when you think about those little packages in the produce section of the grocery store, and you get like 6 pieces of basil for, who knows, I don't know, $3. This was definitely a deal in comparison. So I am going to get this in the dehydrator. I am taking my dog to an appointment, so I will leave this going while I leave. I am debating whether I want to put something else in here or not. I'm always a little bit nervous about smells, you know, odors that you don't want. If I had more herbs, I wouldn't sweat it, but I don't have any herbs. I have some onions that I want to dehydrate, but oof, I'm nervous about onions with my basil. So I'm just going to keep doing this and fill this second tray of my dehydrator. Get it started. Okay, so I removed all the other trays. I only need these 2. I am putting it at the lowest setting, so for herbs and spices it's 95 degrees. It's on. You guys, I just decided to share this with you too as part of the Every Bit Counts challenge. At first I didn't think of it that way, but it really is something that applies. This bag was full of eggshells, and it's been in my pantry room for weeks, probably 2 or 3 months, and I had a lot of crushed eggshells already, so I wasn't worried about it. But as I am cleaning up in there now, as you know, I started crushing those shells, and I thought, oh, I need to share this. So some of you know, but not all of you may realize that I don't buy oyster shells for my chickens. I just feed them back their eggs, and this is how I do it. I feed them, well, I do feed them their eggs sometimes, but I feed them back their eggshells, and I just put like a cookie sheet over by the stove and on the side of the stove, and whenever I crush or whenever I make eggs, I just put the shells there so that they dry out. That's why I put them a single layer on a cookie sheet, and as soon as they dry out, I put them in a bag, and then I just keep doing that until I get a full bag, and then I crush them up as finely as I can. I don't worry about doing it too super fine, but pretty fine. And then I just store them in this bottle, and then I feed these to the chickens. I mix it with eggs or oats or whatever, or sometimes I just throw it in their treat pan. I just make sure that they get calcium a couple of times a week. Usually it's more like once a week, but I like to try and do it to them twice a week, just give them some. So this is just a way of saving money, and every little bit counts, right? So if I can use my chickens' eggshells to feed it back to them so that they can have calcium in their diet, and I have hard shells on my eggs, that's what I will do. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. And here's the finished product. Today, for the Every Bit Counts challenge, we are dehydrating parsley. I have never seen a bag this big of parsley. We got this from a local source. There are some, I can't really say 100% what the source is, but to some extent it is local growers. They have things for stores, and for whatever reason they have excess, and what they do is they give it to the community, and really anybody can go there. Basically you just drive up and they put stuff in your car, and it's twice a month, and every time it's a little bit different, so you don't know what you're going to get. So this past week it was parsley, potatoes, onions, some pears, some peaches. I'm trying to think what else there was, but in any case, a lot of that I am going to be either dehydrating or canning or freezing in the next few days. Today it's parsley, and I'll show you the end result. Hey friends, it's the next day, and I am getting this parsley out of the dehydrator. It was actually finished yesterday. Parsley is not very, the leaves are very small, very easy to dry. It didn't take as long as the basil, for example. So let's get it jarred, and then today I am a little bit behind. I wanted to start the next project, but some things got in the way. So I think it may be too much for this quart jar, but we'll see how much we can get in here. I will show you how much we got, and then we'll move on to today's project. Yesterday, my hubby stopped by his parents, and they sent him home with a few things. One of those things was 5 pounds of dried cherries, and I gave him, well, I separated some into a quart bag, and I'm going to give that to a friend up the road. And the rest I am going to put in some jars and put them on our pantry shelves. So this is 1 quart. I will probably end up with 2 quarts. Let me go get another jar. I was just wondering if I should divide this into pints and have 1 pint for using right now and 1 that I vacuum sealed, because this is quite a bit of parsley. I probably will. So a couple of weeks ago, a friend gave me some onions, some white onions, and I thought that I would dehydrate them, which is something I've wanted to do for probably 5 years now, dehydrate onions. Of course, I don't want to do them in the house because then it will smell like onions. But we've had such hot weather so far this year that I haven't had the ideal day to leave my dehydrator outside. In the meantime, I got some celery and decided, you know what, I'm going to use the carrots I have, the celery, and I'm going to just make some mirepoix for the freezer. I love having just onions or onions and green peppers together, or mirepoix ready in the freezer to go. You don't have to defrost it, you just need to open the bag and just crush it a little bit and then just put it in whatever you're making. So that's what we're going to do next. We are going to preserve and save these onions by way of mirepoix. So these are the onions that I have. She gave me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, and I just noticed that she threw in a head of garlic. So I am going to go ahead and chop all of these carrots here, and I have celery here, and see how much I can get. Alright, I have my celery chopped and my carrots and onions, so I'm going to start bagging and see how many bags I can get. Okay, so we got 4 quart bags of mirepoix, and so I am ready whenever I need this. It'll be in my freezer. I'll put 1 here in the kitchen and put the other 3 in the pantry room in the freezer there. So it's a little thing, but that's what this challenge is about. Every little bit counts. A great sale on jalapenos can mean only one thing. Okay, I am done cutting these up. I am so glad that I use this little chopper thing. Usually I slice my jalapenos, but this time around I thought I would chop them, not only because it'll be faster, or it was faster, but because it's easier to just get a little teaspoon of the cowboy candy in the end to put it on whatever it is you're eating, and you don't have to worry about cutting up slices again because the slices are too big. Anyways, this is what I have done. I am coughing my head off. I am going to take a break from jalapenos and have a bite to eat, and then I'll be back. Today all I am doing is chopping up the rest of the onions from my friend, and I have 4 bell peppers in here and I have 4 here. I'm going to chop those up, mix them, and put them in bags just like I did with the mirepoix. I always use onions and peppers together for things like chili and things like dirty rice, So yeah, it's nice to have those on hand. So let's do this. All right, there we have it. 5 bags of peppers and onions ready to go into the freezer. Okay, so I got my jalapenos out and I weighed them. The big bowl has 5 pounds, 10 and 3/4 ounces. So we'll just go with 5 pounds. And the small bowl has 3 pounds exactly. So we will go say 3 pounds. So I will say that in total I have about 5 pounds. I don't know exactly what the weight of the bowls are, but I think taking 10, 11 ounces off is fair. So let's get started with the ingredients. And I have a really big pan, but it has something in it. So I think I'm going to try and do 2 batches. Let's see, 8 ounces, 8 pounds. And the recipe calls for 3 pounds. So I'm just going to make enough for 2 batches. So 8 pounds of jalapenos. I'm going to go ahead and make 2 batches, which is 3 pounds per batch. And the reason being is because they are chopped and not sliced like I usually do them, it's going to take less of the syrup, or will need less of the syrup. So it should be safe to have enough with just doing 2 batches, which is based on 3 pounds of jalapenos. So let's do that. Okay, so the first thing we need is flour and sugar, and we need, let's see, 6 cups of sugar. Woo! That's for 1 batch. Oops. Let's see, call that 3, call that 4, 5, 6. I'm using white sugar. I'm going to turn this off because it's so loud in my videos. When I listen to them, play back and listen, all I can hear is that ice maker going. Okay, so I think we're at 3 cups here. 4. 5. 6. If you haven't had cowboy candy before, you're probably thinking, that is a lot of sugar she's using for this recipe. Well, it's a condiment. It's not something that you eat by the, cupfuls. You're just going to put a teaspoon on your burger, a teaspoon or 2 on your meatloaf, or any way that you like to spice things up. If you want, you can put it on eggs. I like to use it in all the above mentioned ways, and more. So does my husband. Okay, so in addition to 6 cups of sugar, we want 2 cups of apple cider vinegar in each. Let's see. Let's do 2 cups here. here. And we will add to that 2 teaspoons of salt. 1, 2, 1, 2. So I'm keeping mine pretty plain. People use different ingredients. They like to add other things like red pepper flakes, celery seed, turmeric. They like the color that it has when you add turmeric. And I kind of like that too, but I don't think I want to add anything else to mine. Sometimes people add garlic powder. I'm just keeping it plain. This is all that I'm putting in mine. So now I'm going to bring it to a boil and let it come to a full rolling boil before I add the jalapenos. Okay, so this pot came to a boil and I added 3 pounds of jalapenos, and it needs to simmer for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then we can jar it up. This one, I'm waiting for it to come to a boil, and that one, there's almost half a bowl of jalapenos left, so I will see if there's any syrup left, and then I will also make cowboy candy with that. If there's no syrup, I'm not sure if I'm going to make more. I'm going to come up with something to do with this. Okay, these are done, and we are getting ready to fill our jars. I'm not sure how many jars you will get. I have 4 pint jars here, and let's hope that we get at least that much. I'm going to try to get mostly jalapenos and not a lot of the syrup, and I will add the syrup afterwards. And I'm going to fill it to ½ inch headspace. Okay, so I really did not want to take the time to think or look for something else to do with the leftover jalapenos, so I just combined the brine from the 2 pans, and it was enough to put the last 3 pounds of jalapenos in. So I just did that, and they are ready to go. Where is my, let me go get my, okay, here we go, got my dipper. And this jar is mostly filled. I just need to get it a little bit more. Almost. So I tasted this syrup, some got on my finger, and ooh, it is hot, you guys. So I can't even imagine, or I can imagine actually eating the jalapenos. Part of the problem is that I didn't get to this right away. I didn't get to the jalapenos right away, so they started to ripen, and so that's why you see it's colorful. There's red in there. And then after I did get a chance to slice them up, as you saw, cut them up into pieces, it took a while for me to get back to this stage. So I'm sure more of them ripened, which means hotter jalapenos, which is fine. I am imagining it on some homemade pizza. Not a jalapeno pizza, but to have it with the pizza. When we lived in Mexico and you went to Costco or Sam's, one of those type of warehouse plate stores that sold pizza, one of the condiments that they had that you could choose for your pizza was jalapenos. Okay, I think I'm gonna need another jar, so I'm gonna go get one and be right back. Okay, I ended up with 7 pints. Ideally, I would have liked to have half pints because a pint is not a big container, but just based on how often we use the cowboy candy, it's not like an everyday thing. It may not even be every week that we use it. So I like to have smaller containers of things that I use up and then refill, or use up and then open another one. I would hate to do this in a quart, for example, because it would be forever in my refrigerator. And I don't like that. So anyways, and then I would have had 14 quarts, or 14 half pints, sorry. So what I'm doing right now is just cleaning up the rims. This is really sticky stuff, the syrup, super sticky, and you don't want anything on your rims that would impede the sealing process. That will be disappointing after you did all the work and then your jars didn't seal. So I am cleaning it with vinegar. You could use warm water. Either one works fine. I'm going to do another pass at these because, ouch, they're hot. I really want to make sure that they are clean. Okay, I got my seals on, and now I'm just gonna put my rings on, fingertip tight. If you're not a canner yet, all that means is that you're not cranking down the ring, you're just doing it as tight as your fingers will allow. You don't want to crank it down because then that could cause a seal to buckle and fail, because really you want air to escape. That's the whole point of this. You want to create a seal that happens because the air is pushed out. Okay, let's put these in. Want to use it on a bigger, put it on a bigger burner. All right, so when this starts to boil, then I will set a timer for 10 minutes and let it boil for 10 minutes, and then I will take them out. All right, so this is going at a rolling boil, and I am going to set my timer for 10 minutes. I decided to bring you outside while we're waiting for the cowboy candy to finish, so I can show you, give you a sneak peek of what has been taking up our time here on the homestead. And it's this. This has been challenging. It has been challenging because of weight and being able to pick up pallets. I have a bad shoulder, so it's been mostly on the mister. I have helped him, of course, to the best of my ability. We've used ropes to tip certain things forward or up, like for example the first, ouch, It hurts me to even point like that, to raise my hand, raise my arm that much. So let's switch hands. So this first level, it was the wall and the floor when we put it together, and then we had to tip it up. Actually, it was this side. Oh my goodness, we got some ropes and tied and then tried to lower it. Anyways, we just did what we could, and here is where we are at this point. This week we're gonna have lower temps, as far as we're gonna have high 80s, and maybe, I think I saw one day it's gonna be 91 or 92, and that's so exciting because it's so hot. And when you have triple digits or even 99 degrees out here in the desert, no trees, and just the sun beating down on you, it's really hard to do any kind of strenuous work. So for those of you who know me, you may have an idea of what this structure is for, but most of you won't know, and I don't want to spill the beans and tell you, but I just wanted you to see what is taking up our time. So today it's gonna be nice. I think, I want to say I saw 88 or 89 as the high, I'm not sure. So we're gonna, hold on, so we're gonna do some more work to close this up here and across the top, and then hopefully in the next few days we'll be able to get the materials to do the roof, and then I'll bring you back and show you what we built here. That was perfect timing. We are at 10 minutes. I turned the stove off, and I'm going to move the pot over and let it cool for a little bit before I take the jars out. Okay. Let's bring this pan closer. And we'll take out the jars. After I got these jars going, I realized that I did not debubble all of them. So I was concerned that I might get some siphoning, but I don't see any indications of that. Yay. I love water bath canning. I like canning too because I love having prepared food or ingredients on my shelf, but water bath canning is so fast, so much faster. And so things like cowboy candy or candied jalapenos or salsa are so easy to make. So the next thing I'm going to put in here is the leftover syrup. And I have that right here. The Dutch oven is about halfway maybe filled with leftover syrup. And I'm going to go ahead and can that. I don't want to waste it. I could do a small batch of jalapenos later on sometime, or I was thinking it would be good to marinate some steak, or it could also be good to make, oops, first one popped, did you hear that? Or you could use it, or I could use it to make cornbread instead of using the water part, or the, you know, mix it with some of the milk or whatever, however you make your cornbread. You could use some of the syrup. That would be tasty. I'm gonna think of a few other ways to use it, but yeah, I probably will get, I don't know, maybe 3, maybe 4 jars, but that's what I'm gonna do next. I am warming this up again because this water here in the pot is still pretty hot, and this cooled down quite a bit. So you always want to make sure that the temperature of the contents in your jars is close to the temperature of the water in your canner. All of our cowboy candy jars are sealed. They've all popped, but I'm going to leave them here. I'm not going to touch them till later tonight when I will consider removing the bands. I might just leave them on till tomorrow morning just to be extra safe. Yeah, that's probably what I would do. So I got 3 pints of the syrup, and I'm going to can those up, and I'm going to show you what's left and tell you what I think I'm going to do with it. So this is all that's left over of the syrup, and since I am making hot wings for the mister tonight, I'm going to figure out a way to incorporate this into the hot wings. And here is our cowboy candy, and then later when I take the syrup out, I'll show that to you guys as well. Okay, here is today's bounty. We ended up with 7 pints of candied jalapenos, otherwise known as cowboy candy, and we got 7 or 3 pint jars of the leftover syrup. And just like that, we are done. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. You know how much I appreciate you. And to my new subscribers, please hit that notification bell so that you know every time I upload something new. So the mister is outside. He is working on a new pull for the chicken run door. I have been stuck in there a couple of times and had to MacGyver my way out of there. And yeah, there is no way to open the lock from the inside. No easy way anyway. So I hope that he will get that fixed. And we are supposed to get rain in about 2 hours. So we're going to make haste and take advantage of this 2-hour period to work on that structure a little bit more. Who knows if we're really going to get rain or not, but we don't want to take any chances. All right, you guys, I'll see you in the next video, which will be soon. Please share in the comments if you are still doing the Every Bit Counts challenge, if you bit off more than you could chew, too, if you're making progress and have lots of good stuff on your shelves. If, yeah, just share everything about the challenge with me. I'd love to know how it's going with you. See you soon.